Expand your vocabulary with our core 2,000 words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Spanish ebook before it's gone.
Imagine you're on a vacation in Mexico. You want to order some drinks. How do you do it? Hola, soy Alex. Alex here. Anyone can learn how to get what you want at a vacation resort. In this lesson, you'll learn how. Mark and Karen are relaxing on the beach at a resort in Mexico. Let's watch.
Buenas tardes, ¿se le ofrece algo? Hola, joven. Sí, tráiganos un par de piñas coladas, por favor.
La mía sin alcohol.
¿Seguro? Vuelvo enseguida.
Gracias. Por cierto, ¿en dónde está el club infantil?
Está frente a la playa, a un lado del restaurante.
La puerta naranja, ¿cierto?
Exactamente.
Now with English.
Buenas tardes, ¿se le ofrece algo? Hola, joven. Sí, tráiganos un par de piñas coladas, por favor.
La mía sin alcohol.
¿Seguro? Vuelvo enseguida.
Gracias. Por cierto, ¿en dónde está el club infantil?
Está frente a la playa, a un lado del restaurante.
La puerta naranja, ¿cierto?
Exactamente.
Here are the keywords from the scene.
Joven. Joven. Sir. Joven. 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 Se le ofrece. Se le ofrece.
Do you need?
Se le ofrece. Se le ofrece. Se le ofrece. Vuelvo enseguida. Vuelvo enseguida.
Be right back.
Vuelvo enseguida. Vuelvo enseguida. Vuelvo enseguida. Traer. Traer.
To bring?
Traer. 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 Un par. Un par.
A couple?
Un par. Un par. Un par. Sin alcohol. Sin alcohol.
Without alcohol.
Sin alcohol. Sin alcohol. Sin alcohol.
And now, a breakdown of some of the Spanish you heard in the scene.
In the scene, how does Mark ask for drinks?
Tráiganos un par de piñas coladas, por favor.
Tráiganos un par de piñas coladas, por favor. Tráiganos un par de piñas coladas, por favor.
The word
Tráiganos.
bring us is from the verb
Traer.
to bring. You can use this when you would like a waiter or waitress to get you and your friends something at a restaurant, like in the scene. When you want to ask for two things or a pair, you can use
Un par de.
a couple of. This is good to know if you are traveling with someone. The drink
Piñas coladas.
is the same as piña colada in English. Lastly, after you ask for what you want, make sure to add
Por favor.
please at the end of your sentence. If you want to ask for something else, you can use the same pattern. Just change what you want and how many. For example, if you would like to ask for a beach towel for you and your friend, you can say,
Tráiganos 2 toallas, por favor.
bring us 2 towels, please. These words are
dos,
2 and
toallas,
towels. Pretty simple, right? Now you try. Say Mark's line.
Hola, joven. Sí, tráiganos un par de piñas coladas, por favor.
How does Karen ask where the children's club is?
¿En dónde está el club infantil? ¿En dónde está el club infantil? ¿En dónde está el club infantil?
The words
¿En dónde
where and the word
está
meaning is helps you ask about location. Simply say,
¿En dónde está?
and then add where you want to go. Easy, right? Another example would be,
¿En dónde está la sala de masajes?
where is the massage parlor? The words
La
the for feminine nouns and
sala,
parlor combine with
masajes.
massage. Now you try. Say Karen's line.
Por cierto, ¿en dónde está el club infantil?
Now, the lesson focus. Here's how to get what you want at a vacation resort.
Have you ever wanted to go on vacation in Mexico? Here are some tips to help you out. If you are thinking about going to Mexico on vacation, you're not alone. Around 30 million tourists from all over the world travel to Mexico for vacation, so there are many luxury resorts and hotels to choose from. Some of the most popular tourist destinations are
Cancún, Playa del Carmen, Cozumel, Los Cabos, Puerto Vallarta, Manzanillo, Huatulco, and Acapulco.
A good insider tip is, if you want to travel to Mexico, it's better not to go between July 10th and August 28th. This is when schools are out for summer vacation, and it's usually really crowded. Whether you are traveling with friends, family, children, or that special someone, Mexico has facilities to accommodate all of your travel needs. Common services that can be found are restaurants, bars, cafeterias, private beaches, pools, gyms, playgrounds, and children's clubs, usually referred to as
Mini club or club infantil.
where special activities are organized to entertain children, such as video game competitions, crafts, and sports tournaments. Some hotels also have nightclubs, night family shows, and special theme nights at the main restaurant in the hotel. If you are at a restaurant and want to get the waiter's attention, the best way is to wave your hand back and forth. If the waiter is close to you, you can use the word
Disculpe,
excuse me in the formal register. At a restaurant, if you want to sound more like a native speaker, when referring to the waiter or waitress, you can use the words
joven,
meaning young man or
señorita.
meaning young lady. Even though both of these words imply that the waiter or waitress is young, you can still use them for any male or female staff members. In Mexico, it is a good and friendly idea to greet your waiter or waitress before ordering.
Now, it's time to practice your new ability.
You are at a resort in Mexico and would like to ask the waiter or waitress some questions. Ready? Here we go. First, how would you get the waiter's or waitress's attention if they are close to you?
Disculpe,
How would you ask him or her for a soda?
tráigame un refresco, por favor.
How would you ask him or her where the pool is?
¿En dónde está la alberca?
Great job!
Disculpe, tráigame un refresco, por favor. ¿En dónde está la alberca?
Buen trabajo! Now, watch the scene one more time. After that, you're ready to visit a vacation resort in Mexico. Have fun! Hasta pronto!
Buenas tardes, ¿se le ofrece algo? Hola, joven. Sí, tráiganos un par de piñas coladas, por favor.
La mía sin alcohol.
¿Seguro? Vuelvo enseguida.
Gracias. Por cierto, ¿en dónde está el club infantil?
Está frente a la playa, a un lado del restaurante.
La puerta naranja, ¿cierto?
Exactamente.
Hola a todos, soy Rosa. En esta lección voy a hablar un poco de un día cargado de emoción, deseos y propósitos para los españoles. La Nochevieja, noche que marca la entrada a un nuevo año. En este día la fiesta no para hasta la mañana del 1 de enero. En un momento os contaré más acerca de ella. ¿Sabes por qué existe la tradición de comer uvas en Nochevieja? Os enseñaré la respuesta al final del vídeo. Para mucha gente, en especial los jóvenes, podríamos decir que esta noche se divide en dos partes, antes y después de las campanadas. Antes de las 12 de la noche es frecuente tener una gran cena parecida a la de Navidad con la familia. En la televisión todos los programas ofrecen especiales de Año Nuevo. En ellos participan los mejores humoristas del país y las más famosas celebridades. Son también muy frecuentes los conciertos de tanto los cantantes de moda del momento como de aquellos conocidos por abuelos, padres y niños. Conforme se acercan las 12 se respira cierta emoción. Se preparan los cuencos confirmando que cada uno contiene 12 uvas. El lugar más típico donde comer las uvas es la Puerta del Sol en Madrid. Hoy en día se celebra en todas las ciudades, pero es también normal comerlas en casa delante del televisor. Se escucha como cada año cómo sonarán las campanadas y cuándo comer las uvas. Y ¡ton, ton! Llega por fin el momento de comer la primera uva, la segunda... Pero cuidado, existen cada año casos de atragantamiento. Habiendo ya entrado en el nuevo año, lo normal es felicitar, abrazar y brindar con toda la familia. En este brindis, para traer dinero, es normal introducir en la copa un anillo de oro. A partir de este momento se colapsarán las líneas telefónicas y no se dejará de enviar y recibir mensajes y llamadas de felicitación de todos los amigos y familiares. Tras esto, normalmente se sale a la calle, a algún pub o discoteca, y a celebrar el nuevo año hasta que el cuerpo aguante. Es normal en este día estrenar nueva ropa, pero no solo eso. Es también tradición estrenar un conjunto de ropa interior. Normalmente esta será de color amarillo si quieres atraer dinero o lo más frecuente, roja, si quieres atraer amor. Y ahora voy a daros la respuesta a la pregunta que lancé antes. ¿Sabes por qué existe la tradición de comer uvas en Nochevieja? Parece que no tiene ningún motivo religioso o cultural, sino más bien económico. En la Nochevieja de 1909, los cosechadores de uva tuvieron una gran producción e inventaron por eso el rito de tomar las uvas de la suerte en la última noche del año. ¿Qué tal esta lección? ¿Aprendiste algo interesante sobre la Nochevieja en España? ¿Cómo entra en tu país la gente en el nuevo año? Por favor, deje su comentario en SpanishPod101.com. ¡Hasta la próxima!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Monthly Review, the monthly show on language learning, where you discover new learning strategies, motivational tips, study tools, and resources. By the way, all the lessons and bonuses you're about to see can be downloaded for free on our website. So click the link in the description right now to sign up for your free lifetime account. Okay, today's topic is, can busy people actually learn a language? You yourself probably have an answer to this question, right? But whether you can or can't actually has a bit more to do with your mindset than anything else. And in this guide, you'll discover, 1, is it possible for busy people to learn a language and the mindset needed? 2, mental bandwidth, the one thing that can make or break your language goals. And 3, 5 mindset tricks to make time for language. But first, if you're looking for new free language resources and downloads, here are this month's new lessons and resources. Be sure to download these now before we take them down in a few days. First, the Talking Online PDF cheat sheet. Learn the must-know internet slang and all the internet-related vocab and phrases in your target language with this PDF cheat sheet. And second, the 40 words and phrases for ordering food writing workbook. With this free resource, you'll pick up must-know words and phrases for the restaurant and practice writing them out as well. To get your free resources, click the link in the description below right now. They're yours to keep forever. Can busy people actually learn a language? Part 1. Is it possible for busy people to learn a language and the mindset needed? So, can busy people actually learn a language? What do you think? Leave us a comment and let us know. As much as we want to say yes, it's more of a yes or no depending on the person. Why yes? Yes, because many of our members are busy and are learning with our system. And some of you who are watching also fall into this camp. But it also depends on the person because it's more of a mindset thing. Either you think you have time or you don't. For example, many of our members fall into the group of can learn and can find the time, even if they're busy. If you're busy and still want to learn, if you look around, you can always find 5 or 10 minutes a day, like on a commute. Now, if your mindset is the opposite, if you think you can't learn a language or you don't have time, you won't even try, even if you had a resource that was proven to work. Part 2. Mental bandwidth, the one thing that can make or break your language goals. And if you think about it, if you had all the time in the world but felt like you couldn't learn a language, you wouldn't try either. Again, this is why it comes down to the mindset and why it all depends on each individual person. Either you think you can or you think you can't. But it may not always be this black and white either. It can also depend on your mental bandwidth too. Think back to your school days, those few days before exams. It got really busy and you had to stop everything to study, right? You were probably thinking, if I can just get through studying this week and take the test, then next week I can finally start relaxing and doing other things. And if someone asked you if you wanted to hang out, you would say no, because you're busy. But chances are you still managed to spend at least 30 minutes on YouTube or social media. Meaning you did have some time, even if you were busy. But the test was occupying your mind and taking up all that bandwidth. So it's also possible that we just don't have the mental bandwidth because we're overwhelmed. And this is a genuine reason for not being able to learn when you're busy. Don't worry, in the next part, we'll show you how to get some bandwidth so that you don't feel overwhelmed. Part 3. 5 mindset tricks to make time for language. So if you've gotten this far, you understand that it is possible to start learning a language, even if you're busy, that you can find the time, but it mostly comes down to your mindset. So how can you develop the mindset? So when you're too busy, it feels like you're overwhelmed and like you don't have control of your time. Well, there are a few things you can do to gain some control of your time, have some breathing room, and learn a bit of language. First, always set small, measurable goals. This is something that we talk a lot about here. For example, learn for 10, 15, or 20 minutes every day. Learn 100 words in 1 month, which means learning 3 to 4 words a day. And the mindset behind this is just being realistic with your goals and what you can do. Because if you're busy, you may not have 1 or 2 hours. And this is a strict rule, especially when starting out with new goals and languages. Always stick to small, measurable goals. Second, lowering your goals and expectations is okay when things get super busy. If you couldn't learn all 100 words for the month and only got up to 40 or 60, that's okay. If you tried learning on Monday and Tuesday but skipped Wednesday and Thursday, that's okay. Sometimes you have to shift priorities, and prioritizing things is a secret to a successful life. You may not get to the goal you wanted to achieve today, but you can get to it next week. Third, it's okay to put language on pause if life gets in the way. Just like with that last point, you can always come back and reach your goal a little later. We often see learners put language on pause, come back later. Some even come back years later. But the key is to come back. Fourth, avoid the all-or-nothing mindset at all costs. And an all-or-nothing mindset is something you'll see in beginners and perfectionists. When you have this mindset, you'll say, language learning requires hours, so there's no point in learning for a few minutes today. But something is better than nothing, and even 5 to 10 minutes of review adds up in the grand scheme. And in the grand scheme, it's more important to be consistent, even if it's just for a minute a day, rather than study for hours once a week. The brain just doesn't work that way. Fifth, do you have a slowdown or relaxing routine that you do on the weekends or whenever you have free time? And if you didn't do it, you'd feel overwhelmed? Leave us a comment and let us know what it is. For some, it could be reading, watching TV, or going to a cafe and doing nothing for a bit. You're there on your own, you don't have much to do in front of you, even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes. And if you're settled, you start feeling in control. And that's the point you have some mental bandwidth. You can start doing some time management and plan your week out. You can put in a few minutes of language learning. But if you don't slow down and if you feel overwhelmed, you could have the easiest possible way to learn a language, and you still wouldn't do it. So, back to you. If you were busy, do you think you'd be able to learn a language? Leave us a comment. So, thank you for watching this episode of Monthly Review. Do you record yourself speaking your target language? If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. And if you're ready to finally learn language the fast, fun, and easy way and start speaking from your very first lesson, get our complete learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Click the link in the description. See you next time. Bye!
Imagine you're in Mexico and would like to book a sightseeing tour. How do you do it? Where should you go? Hola, soy Alex. Alex here. Anyone can learn how to book a sightseeing tour in Mexico. In this lesson, you'll learn how. Mark and Karen are at a travel agency. They want to book a package tour to Chichen Itza. Let's watch.
Buenos días, ¿cómo puedo ayudarles? Por favor, tomen asiento. Buenos días, gracias. Estamos interesados en visitar Chichen Itza. ¿Tiene algún paquete de viaje para allá?
De preferencia que incluya los cenotes en el recorrido.
Sí, tenemos uno que incluye transporte, visita guiada y visita a los cenotes. Suena bien. ¿También está incluido el lunch? Sí, lunch buffet en un restaurante de comida yucateca. Queremos 4 boletos para mañana sábado, 2 adultos y 2 niños. ¿A qué hora es la salida? El autobús sale a las 7 de la mañana, frente a la entrada principal del hotel.
Now with English.
Buenos días, ¿cómo puedo ayudarles? Por favor, tomen asiento. Buenos días, gracias. Estamos interesados en visitar Chichen Itza. ¿Tiene algún paquete de viaje para allá?
De preferencia que incluya los cenotes en el recorrido.
Sí, tenemos uno que incluye transporte, visita guiada y visita a los cenotes. Suena bien. ¿También está incluido el lunch? Sí, lunch buffet en un restaurante de comida yucateca. Queremos 4 boletos para mañana sábado, 2 adultos y 2 niños. ¿A qué hora es la salida? El autobús sale a las 7 de la mañana, frente a la entrada principal del hotel.
Here are the keywords from the scene.
Poder. Poder.
To be able to.
Poder. 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 Interesado. Interesada. Interesado. Interesada.
Interested.
Interesado. interesada, interesado, interesada. Interesado, interesada. Tomar asiento, tomar asiento.
To have a seat.
Tomar asiento, tomar asiento. Tomar asiento. Paquete de viaje, paquete de viaje.
Package tour.
Paquete de viaje, paquete de viaje. Paquete de viaje. Transporte, transporte.
Transportation.
Transporte, transporte. Transporte. Ayudar, ayudar.
To help.
Ayudar, ayudar. Ayudar.
And now, a breakdown of some of the Spanish you heard in the scene.
In the scene, how did Mark ask if lunch was included in their tour package?
¿También está incluido el lunch?
¿Está incluido el lunch? ¿Está incluido el lunch?
You can use the word
Incluido.
meaning included to ask what comes with your package tour. Simply say,
¿Está incluido?
does it include? And add what you would like to know about. Easy, right? If you want to ask if your tour includes transportation, you can say,
¿Está incluido el transporte?
does it include transportation? The words
El
the for masculine nouns combined with
transporte.
transport. Now it's your turn. Say Mark's line.
Suena bien. ¿También está incluido el lunch?
How did Mark ask what time they would leave?
¿A qué hora es la salida?
¿A qué hora es la salida? ¿A qué hora es la salida?
What time is the departure? Use this phrase when you want to know what time you will leave somewhere.
¿A qué hora es?
At what time is
La
the for feminine nouns. And lastly,
salida.
departure. You can use this to ask about the time of any event
¿A qué hora es?
and add what event you want to know about. If you want to ask what time is the museum tour, you can say
¿A qué hora es el recorrido por el museo?
the words
El
the for masculine nouns,
recorrido,
tour, and lastly,
museo.
museum. Now you try. Say Mark's line.
Queremos 4 boletos para mañana sábado, 2 adultos y 2 niños. ¿A qué hora es la salida?
Now, the lesson focus. Here is how to book a sightseeing tour at a travel agency.
Have you ever booked a tour with a
Agencia de viajes.
or travel agency? If you haven't, here are some tips to help you out. If the agency isn't well known, it can be risky to give out your credit card information online. So, if you want to book a tour to a popular destination, it's best to do so with your hotel's travel agency. If you want to book a tour to a more rural area, you could also try to book the trip with a travel agency outside of the hotel. There are many in the downtown area of any city or town. Some tours offer guides to pick you up directly from your hotel. They come early in the morning and take you back late at night. Also, if you are traveling with family or friends, it is good to ask what kinds of deals they offer. Many tours offer price reductions or
Descuentos.
discounts for kids, the elderly, and students. Now that you know where to book and how to get a good price, let's talk about how to communicate with your travel agent. Usually, people in Mexico are very friendly, so even if you are unable to say exactly what you want to say, you can still get your message across and be understood. A good idea, though, is to bring a list of some places you'd like to visit in Spanish. That way, the travel agent knows where you want to go. If you find yourself having difficulty communicating, you can also pick up a brochure. Many travel agencies have brochures in English, French, German, and other languages. Bigger travel agencies have even more languages to choose from. Also, it is a good idea to pick up a
Horario de autobuses.
bus schedule from your travel agent, because many places are easily accessible by bus. If you aren't familiar with Mexico or don't know where to start, looking up some top 10 lists on the internet can help narrow down your search. Some really popular destinations you can get to by bus in Mexico City are the National Palace, the Great Temple Ruins, the Fine Arts Palace, and many more emblematic parks and monuments. In many cities such as
Yucatán, Chiapas, Tabasco, Querétaro, and Mexico City.
you can go on tours to archaeological sites, natural reserves, parks, emblematic buildings, museums, and landmarks.
Now, it's time to practice your new ability.
You are at a travel agency and you want to ask the travel agent some questions. Ready? Here we go. How do you ask the travel agent if something is included in your package tour?
¿Esto está incluido?
How do you ask if transportation is included?
¿Está incluido el transporte?
How do you ask what time you will leave?
¿A qué hora es la salida?
Great job.
¿Esto está incluido? ¿Está incluido el transporte? ¿A qué hora es la salida?
Buen trabajo! Now, watch the scene one more time. After that, you are ready to book your trip. Have a good time. Hasta pronto!
Buenos días, ¿cómo puedo ayudarles? Por favor, tomen asiento. Buenos días, gracias. Estamos interesados en visitar Chichén Itzá. ¿Tiene algún paquete de viaje para allá?
De preferencia que incluya los cenotes en el recorrido.
Sí, tenemos uno que incluye transporte, visita guiada y visita a los cenotes. Suena bien. ¿También está incluido el lunch? Sí, lunch buffet en un restaurante de comida yucateca. Queremos 4 boletos para mañana sábado, 2 adultos y 2 niños. ¿A qué hora es la salida? El autobús sale a las 7 de la mañana, frente a la entrada principal del hotel.
Hola a todos, soy Rosa y en esta lección me gustaría hablaros sobre uno de los días más especiales para las familias españolas, como supongo también es para las de muchos otros países del mundo. Me estoy refiriendo al día de Navidad, que como ya sabéis celebra el nacimiento del niño Jesús. En este día las casas lucen sus mejores galas y reciben a toda la familia, para que junta disfrute de una gran cena con platos muy especiales. Antiguamente, más que ahora, había muchos niños que en este día no recibían regalos. ¿Por qué crees? ¿Será porque se portaron mal durante el año? Os enseñaré la respuesta al final del vídeo. Un día tan especial como es la Navidad necesita ir acompañada de una decoración igualmente especial. Todas las calles se llenan de luz en estos días. Al igual que las calles, las casas también experimentan una completa transformación, y es toda la familia la que normalmente ayuda en eso. Se decora el árbol de Navidad bajo el cual los niños recibirán sus regalos. También se coloca el Belén, que escenifica el nacimiento de Jesús. El más sencillo lo forman solo figuras de Jesús, María y José, y quizá la mula y el buey. En algunas casas, sin embargo, se colocan belenes realmente increíbles, con miles de figuras y detalles. En estas fechas incluso se celebran concursos de belenes espectaculares. Como veis, antes de la cena de Nochebuena, el 24 de diciembre, puede sentirse ya el ambiente navideño. No solo con la decoración, sino también con los típicos villancicos que suenan sin parar en todos los centros comerciales y los Papá Noeles que reparten caramelos delante de las tiendas. Otra de las cosas que ayudan a sentir aún más el espíritu navideño es el sorteo de la Lotería de la Navidad el 22 de diciembre, en el que las familias escuchan en la televisión nacional los números del sorteo cantados por niños, con la esperanza de ganar algún dinero. Es este además el día en que los niños comienzan las vacaciones de Navidad en la escuela. El 24 de diciembre todas las familias están ajetreadas intentando cocinar toneladas de comida que seguramente les sirva para comer durante los 2 o 3 días que siguen. Lo más típico en este día es cocinar mariscos. Mucha gente los compra con varios días de adelanto porque los precios en Navidad son altísimos. Además tenemos cochinillo, cordero, pavo. De bebida, lo más típico son los vinos y cava o sidra para brindar. Después de la cena viene el momento de los dulces típicos, turrones, mazapanes y polvorones. Con todo esto, es normal que el número de personas a dieta después de Navidad sea enorme. En Navidad es esperado por todos el anuncio en televisión del turrón almendro, que con su eslogan «Vuelven a casa por Navidad» y su archiconocida melodía reflejan la emoción de muchas familias por reunirse con aquellos que por vivir lejos no ven a menudo. Y ahora voy a daros la respuesta a la pregunta que lancé antes. Antiguamente, más que ahora, había muchos niños que en este día no recibían regalos. ¿Por qué crees? Aunque puede que algunos niños no reciban regalos por haberse portado mal, la verdadera razón es que en España la tradición es que sean los Reyes Magos quienes traigan los regalos a los niños el 6 de enero. ¿Qué tal esta lección? ¿Aprendiste algo interesante acerca de cómo se celebra la Navidad en España? ¿Se celebra en tu país de forma parecida o qué otras costumbres tenéis? Por favor, deje su comentario en SpanishPod101.com. ¡Hasta la próxima!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Monthly Review, the monthly show on language learning, where you discover new learning strategies, motivational tips, study tools, and resources. By the way, all the lessons and bonuses you're about to see can be downloaded for free on our website. So, click the link in the description right now to sign up for your free lifetime account. Okay, today's topic is, are you an introvert or an extrovert? And how to speak more of your target language. Since you're learning the language, then you're very much aware of the importance of speaking, which can be easy if you're an extrovert or hard if you're an introvert. So, how can you speak more if you're on the shy side? Keep watching this month's episode. You'll discover who learns faster, extroverts or introverts, why learning a language can help you become more extroverted, and 5 ways to speak more, even if you're an introvert. But first, if you're looking for new free language resources and downloads, here are this month's new lessons and resources. Be sure to download these now before we take them down in a few days. First, the Sport and Exercise Conversation Cheat Sheet. Want to talk about fitness in your target language? You'll learn over 50 words and phrases for sports and exercise with this brand new cheat sheet. Second, the 40 words and phrases for ordering food writing workbook. With this free resource, you'll pick up must-know words and phrases for the restaurant and practice writing them out as well. Third, the top 12 April Fool's phrases. Want to be able to say some outrageous phrases in your target language for April Fool's Day? Then you'll want this April Fool's phrase list. Fourth, can you talk about your bones in your target language? Learn how to say words like skull, ribs, spine, and much more with this quick vocab bonus. Fifth, 20 must-know jewelry vocabulary. Do you know how to say earrings or necklace in your target language? If you don't, then this vocab lesson is for you. To get your free resources, click the link in the description below right now. They're yours to keep forever. Okay, let's jump into today's topic. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? And how to speak more of your target language. Part 1. Do extroverts or introverts learn languages faster? If you've ever wondered whether introverts or extroverts learn the language faster, there have been studies done on this. And as you'd expect, extroverts do have an advantage when it comes to speaking and overall conversational skills. Of course, these studies didn't take into account mistakes you may make, such as grammar, vocab, etc. And introverts? Introverts tend to observe and listen more, and tend to be better listeners. Do you agree with these findings? Leave a comment. So the key takeaway is they each have their own advantages. One has something that the other lacks. And that makes sense, doesn't it? If you speak less, your speaking skills will be weaker. And if you want to just speak a lot, you get good at speaking but miss out on the other skills, like listening and reading. So unfortunately, you can't really say who learns faster based on personality alone, just that each one has their advantages and disadvantages. But personality aside, success with a language will always depend on your attitude towards learning itself and how much time you put in. The person that has a better chance of becoming fluent will always be the one that puts in more time to learn, practice, get feedback, adjust with the feedback, and not so much about whether they're extroverted or introverted. But what if you're an introvert who wants to be able to speak more? Is there a way to become more extroverted? Part 2. How to speak more, even if you're an introvert. There are ways to become more extroverted, at least more than your usual self. How? Well, first, by learning a language. When you learn a language, you have a natural desire to connect with native speakers, even if you're shy. Also, native speakers tend to be very supportive and welcoming when you're trying to learn their language. So even if you're shy, it's kind of hard to stay shy in the long run when the people you speak with are so encouraging. In your native language, even if you know a million ways to start a conversation, you might not try to speak to someone because you're worried about whether you have something clever to say or the timing or some other social aspect. But in another language, where you may only know a few phrases, you're not bogged down by that. You just do the best you can with the few phrases you have. Plus, learning a language alone gives you a chance to reinvent yourself. To learn another language is to acquire another soul, as the quote goes. So, learning a language alone puts you on a path towards becoming more extroverted. But if you want specific tips, here are 5 ways to speak more, even if you're an introvert. Number 1. Learn how to listen like an introvert. How can this help you to speak more? Introverts tend to listen more, and the better listener you become, the better questions you can ask, which results in a more meaningful conversation, which also means more speaking time for you. So you can speak more, even if you consider yourself an introvert, by listening well and asking relevant and pertinent questions. By the way, if you want to learn how to ask questions, then check out our top 25 questions you need to know, where you'll learn all about what to ask and answer regarding the most common conversational questions. Number 2, increase speaking time and confidence through experience. Simply put, the more experiences you have in life or experience with certain topics, the more knowledgeable you become. And as your life or work experiences grow, so will your audience. You'll find people coming to you to talk to you. It could be about business, travel, or just your own life stories. If a conversation is about France, and if you've been to France, the conversation will gravitate towards you. Having all that experience makes things easy for you as an introvert. People will come to you, so you don't have to find them. For a language learner, the tricks are to 1. Be knowledgeable about something, and 2. Be able to talk about your experience in the target language. Number 3. Find the right audience. Imagine talking to someone that's not interested in learning languages. They'll give you 100 reasons why they can't learn, never reasons why it might work out for them, right? But when you're talking to an audience that's interested in languages, then you can have a conversation that could go on for hours. So find the right audience to share with. With language learning, it means you need to find native speakers that share the same hobbies or interests as you. Number 4, talk about what you know best. The introvert-extrovert dynamic also depends on how much you know about a topic and what you're most comfortable with. There are topics you may not know enough about, so you won't talk as much. But even the biggest introvert can become a confident speaker once you touch upon a topic they know well. That's where they shine. So if your goal is to be more extroverted, then focus on the things you know about. Or you can always gain experience in topics you don't know much about so you can speak more. Number 5, create opportunities to speak. How? Well, it's hard to stop a stranger and start talking with them without any context, right? But what if you need help finding something at a store, or have a question about a dish at a restaurant? then it's much easier since you're there with a purpose. So you can create these opportunities by going to a restaurant from the country that speaks your target language and speaking with the staff, or asking a taxi driver a question, or asking staff at an information booth a question. So to recap, if you want to speak more, even if you're an introvert, 1. Listen like an introvert. 2. Increase speaking time and confidence through experience. 3. Find the right audience. 4. Talk about what you know best. And 5. Create opportunities to speak. So thank you for watching this episode of Monthly Review. Next time, we'll talk about how tipping points will bring you closer to your language goals. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. And if you're ready to finally learn language the fast, fun, and easy way and start speaking from your very first lesson, get our complete learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Click the link in the description. See you next time. Bye! Hey everyone, welcome to the Monthly Review, the monthly show on language learning, where you discover new learning strategies, motivational tips, study tools, and resources. By the way, all the lessons and bonuses you're about to see can be downloaded for free on our website. So click the link in the description right now to sign up for your free lifetime account. Okay, today's topic is how to learn a language in 2022. If you're planning to learn a language in 2022, then this episode is for you, especially if you want to finally succeed with your New Year's resolution, instead of failing or giving up in the next week or two. That's why today you'll discover 1. The 4 critical steps you need to take when learning a new language, and 2. How to set goals and New Year's resolutions that won't fail you in 2022. But first, if you're looking for some free language resources and downloads, here are this month's new lessons and resources. Be sure to download these now before we take them down in a few days. First, the Using Opposites Conversation Cheat Sheet. With this new cheat sheet, you'll learn common opposite adjectives like near and far, hot and cold, and grammar rules on how to use these words in a sentence. Second, the How to Say Goodbye PDF Writing Workbook. With this printable PDF, you'll pick up some common parting greetings and be able to practice writing them out. Third, can you talk about cars in your target language? Learn how to say words like tire, windshield, headlights, and more with this quick vocab bonus. Fourth, must know words and phrases for public transportation. Learn how to say ticket, bus, train, and much more with this quick 1-minute lesson. Fifth, the 10 habits of highly effective language learners. Wondering which habits will help you succeed with language learning? Then check out this free lesson. To get your free resources, click the link in the description below right now. They're yours to keep forever. Okay, let's jump into today's topic. How to learn a language in 2022. Part 1. The 4 critical steps you need to take when learning a new language. Every time you start a new language, you should start with 1. Goals, 2. Anchor points, 3. Grammar, 4. Reading. What are these 4 steps, and why do you need them to succeed with language learning? Let's jump in. The first one is goals. Everything starts with a goal, but your goal itself can also lead you to failure if you don't set it the right way. So more specifically, you need to set small, measurable monthly goals instead of just, I want to learn a language and be fluent this year. We'll cover goals in the second part of this episode, so stay tuned. After goals, the second step is setting anchor points. What are anchor points? Imagine a small ship in the middle of a big lake. It's windy, lots of waves, and the ship is bobbing up and down, drifting all around. What would you use to stop the ship from drifting away? An anchor. And just like an anchor keeps the ship in place, anchor points keep you from drifting away from your language. So an anchor point is a connection to the language that keeps you attached to the language and motivated to learn the language. One great example is language school. Imagine you signed up and paid thousands of dollars up front. Paying that much would motivate you to make the most of your time there. It's also a big commitment, one that you can't easily back out of. And school dictates your schedule. You have to wake up early, you have to do homework. Your life revolves around the classes. And as such, language school and the language itself become anchor points that your life revolves around. Anchor points can also be family or a partner that speaks the language you're learning. You're around them, you're exposed to the language, so your motivation to learn gets a bit stronger. Buying a language learning program or textbook are also examples of good anchor points. You invested your hard-earned money, which means you're serious about learning. Plus, you want to make sure your investment doesn't go to waste, so you're more motivated. If you're wondering if you have any anchor points, you already have at least one. You're watching our lessons on YouTube. But the more anchor points you have, the stronger your motivation will be. So if you're into music or TV shows in your target language, those can serve as anchor points too. These are things that connect you to the language and add a bit of motivation to learn more, or at the very least, understand what you're watching or listening to. We covered goals and anchor points. What's next? The third step is you must have a good grasp of grammar of your native language. Now, you might wonder, if you're learning a new language, why focus on your native language? Well, as native speakers, the problem is we know what good grammar sounds like, but we can't explain how or why our language works the way it works. So if you don't have a good grasp of grammar, the backbone or the rules of a language, then you'll have a tough time learning a new language. You'll jump in and start learning words and phrases, but you'll never learn how to put them together and make sentences. That's a common problem beginners have. Now, if you already know the grammar of your native language, how do you apply that to your target language? For example, if you're an English speaker, and if you know that English sentences follow the subject, verb, object pattern, and if you know that languages have specific sentence patterns, then you'd go look at patterns. Then, you'd have a good idea of how to create your own sentences, instead of learning random words first. Finally, the fourth step is reading. Reading is good simply because you can do it anywhere, anytime, and without a teacher. It's a skill you can get started on day one, on your own. Reading also tends to spill over into other areas. The more you read, the more words and grammar rules you come across, so you boost your vocabulary and grammar, which can seep into speaking and listening. If you read out loud, you're practicing two skills at once. Now, we've covered what you need: goals, anchor points, reading, and grammar. Setting anchor points, knowing your own grammar, and reading are simple enough, but how do you set goals that don't lead you to failure? Part 2. How to set goals and New Year's resolutions that won't fail you in 2022. The goal that you set can make or break your language learning journey, so setting the right goals makes all the difference between success and failure. Just think about all of the common New Year's resolutions. What comes to mind? Goals like, I want to be fluent someday. I want to speak the language. I want to lose weight. I want to save more money. These big, vague goals often lead to failure because you simply have no idea how to approach the goal and you don't know what you're aiming for. Instead, your goals should be small, measurable, and monthly. For example, speak 1 minute of conversation by the end of the month. Learn 100 words by the end of the month. Finish Chapter 1 of your language textbook by the end of the month. If you're using our program, finish 20 audio lessons by the end of the month. All of these are small and specific. 1 minute, 100 words, 1 chapter, 20 audio lessons. This means that they're easy to reach, unlike something vague like fluency. They're also measurable. You know when you reach 1 minute. You can check if you know all 100 words or if you finished all 20 lessons. If you aim for fluency, you won't know when you hit it. It's too vague and too big of a goal, and it may take years to hit. Finally, all of these goals have a deadline, the end of the month. That would mean January 31st of this year. Deadlines give you a clear date to aim for, and without one, you'll forever be floating around without much progress. So set a deadline for the end of every month. So now that you know how to set small, measurable monthly goals, leave us a comment. What's your small, measurable monthly goal, and what's the deadline? So thank you for watching this episode of Monthly Review. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. And if you're ready to finally learn language the fast, fun, and easy way and start speaking from your very first lesson, get our complete learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Click the link in the description. See you next time. Bye!
Hola a todos, soy Rosa. En esta lección voy a hablar de una celebración muy especial para los cristianos en España. Es la Semana Santa y, como su nombre indica, dura toda una semana. Las fechas varían cada año y en 2014 se celebrará del 13 al 20 de abril. El Viernes Santo siempre es el primer viernes después de la primera luna llena posterior al equinoccio de primavera. ¿Qué deberías hacer el Domingo de Ramos si quieres tener suerte? Os enseñaré la respuesta al final del vídeo. Dentro de esta semana, los días más importantes son el Domingo de Ramos, que conmemora la llegada de Jesucristo a Jerusalén y se celebra llevando palmas y ramas de olivo a misa para que sean bendecidos con agua. El Miércoles Santo es el día de la traición de Judas a Jesús. En este día, en algunas regiones de España, los ciudadanos, con túnica negra y capirote y cargados de instrumentos de percusión, llenan la noche y el día siguiente con el estruendo de los tambores. El Viernes Santo, día de la pasión y muerte de Jesucristo, en el que encontramos representaciones del Vía Crucis, camino hacia la cruz, en iglesias y en las calles por medio de procesiones. En este día, la Iglesia Católica prohíbe además el consumo de carne. Finalmente, el Domingo de Pascua o Resurrección. En algunas zonas se pintan huevos de colores, mientras en otras existen tradiciones como la de quemar muñecos de paja. La gastronomía tradicional durante estas fiestas se caracteriza por su austeridad, tanto en la elaboración como en sus ingredientes. Sin embargo, tenemos algunos platos típicos como la sopa de ajo en el norte o el bacalao en salazón. El bacalao se utiliza luego para hacer croquetas, buñuelos y tortillitas. Hay dulces que suelen consumirse especialmente en estas fechas, como las torrijas, pestiños o monas de Pascua. Procesiones existen en muchos países, pero creo que no es exagerado decir que las de Semana Santa en el sur de España son de las más espectaculares. Las cofradías invierten gran cantidad de tiempo y dinero en el momento en el que podrán mostrar orgullosos sus pasos a fieles y curiosos. Tristemente, ocurre con cierta frecuencia el que durante esta semana llueva y tengan que cancelarse algunas salidas. Por esto, en estos días, es la lluvia la principal causa de decepciones para muchos. Puede que en las procesiones te llamen la atención los altos gorros en forma de cucurucho. Son los capirotes y tienen su origen en la Inquisición. Colocaban a los condenados por la Iglesia Católica en la Edad Media un gorro similar. Este llevaba pintadas figuras alusivas al delito o a su castigo. Y ahora voy a daros la respuesta a la pregunta que lancé antes. ¿Qué deberías hacer el Domingo de Ramos si quieres tener suerte? Pues según la tradición, este día hay que usar una prenda de ropa nueva. Es una costumbre bastante extendida, e incluso tenemos un refrán que dice: en Domingo de Ramos, quien no estrena, no tiene manos. Vale cualquier prenda o complemento, desde calcetines hasta trajes. ¿Qué tal esta lección? ¿Aprendiste algo interesante? ¿Se celebra la Semana Santa en tu país? Si no, ¿qué te ha parecido lo que has escuchado en esta lección? Por favor, deje su comentario en SpanishPod101.com. ¡Hasta la próxima!
Hello friends from SpanishPod101.com. I'm Efraín.
And I'm Diego.
And today we're gonna give you a quick guide to survive to Mexican Spanish.
Enjoy
Enjoy the video! Woo! Mexico is a very beautiful place to visit because of its people, because of its culture, and many other things. But there is something in the communication that becomes slightly difficult because we have so many usages that are not used in other countries. Give us an example, Diego.
Yeah, so for example, we have a difference between the use of pretérito perfecto and the pretérito indefinido because, for example, in Spain, they tend to use the pretérito perfecto for an action that ended recently. So they will say something like, esta mañana he desayunado cereal, or hoy he desayunado cereal. However, in Mexico, we wouldn't say it in that way. We would rather say, esta mañana desayuné cereal, or hoy desayuné cereal. Now, in Mexico, many things are small. And I don't say that because of the size of the things, but rather because we tend to use the diminutive in so many occasions. So, for example, for showing courtesy or hospitality or kindness, or even when we ask for something and we want to be polite. So we can use it, for example, in the adjectives. I could say, Efraín es chaparrito. Efraín is short. But we could also use it in the nouns. So we will give you more examples.
Diego, como que hace calorcito, ¿no?
Sí, hace un poquito de calor.
Sonará extraño, pero se me antojó un cafecito.
Claro, pero en un ratito que terminemos el video, te lo preparo.
Ok, ahorita me lo haces, ¿eh?
Claro que sí.
Va. There is another huge difference. Mexicans are incapable of saying no. So we create pretexts, excuses, and we delay the offer. That is something that people of other countries hate about us. So it wouldn't be strange to hear things like, sí, pero al ratito. Muy probablemente, pero yo te aviso. Te confirmo al rato. Tal vez. Al rato quedamos. O nos marcamos después. So when you hear stuff like that, the other person might be declining your petition. For example, Diego, deberíamos ir a una fiesta hoy. Escuché que esta Ana va a dar una fiesta en su casa a las 8.
Oh, esa noche. Bueno, es que ya tenía un plan con unos amigos. No estoy seguro.
Pues invítalos.
Sí, pero bueno, yo te confirmo más al ratito.
Ok, sí, tú me dices.
Sí. Another thing you need to know before coming to Mexico is that we tend to overuse the reflexive pronoun te and the suffix le. As we know, the reflexive pronoun te, we use it all the time whenever we use an reflexive verb. And the suffix le is for an indirect object. However, in Mexico, we use the reflexive pronoun te for a request that we want to make it sound more friendly, for cheering up the person whom we are asking the request. So I could say, Efra, léete el libro de Rayuela de Julio Cortázar. Es muy bueno.
Ok, seguro.
And the suffix le, we use it for, once again, this is another imperative. And we use it whenever we want something to be done quickly, and it's also kind of friendly and cheerful. So we could probably say, we can use it in the verb correr. It doesn't really need an indirect object. So it wouldn't be strange to hear in Mexico a thing such as, Efra, córrele, que se nos va a hacer tarde para ir al cine. We will give you another example.
Diego, échate este vino conmigo, al fin ya no tiene mucho.
No, Efra, tú sabes que yo ya no tomo.
Nomás un traguito, Diego.
No. Pero, ¿qué tienes? ¿Estás un poco triste o algo?
No, todo bien, Diego, todo bien.
Te veo un poco animado. A ver, cántate una canción.
Amigo, ¿qué te pasa? ¿Estás llorando?
Pero cántale con ganas.
Amigo, ¿qué te pasa? ¿Estás llorando? Seguro es por desdenes de mujeres. No hay golpe más mortal para los hombres. So, this is it, friends from SpanishPod101.com. We hope you have enjoyed this video and give us your thumbs up if you want to come to Mexico and meet some friends here. Let us know your opinion right below.
In our comment section, and see you in the next video.
See you!
Expand your vocabulary with our core 2,000 words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Spanish ebook before it's gone.